All right, fam. So before we go any further in this program, we need to talk about two things that usually get lumped together like they're twins, but they're not even cousins. I'm talking about vitamins and minerals. Now, most people use these words like they have the same meaning, like, oh, I'm taking my vitamins, or oh, I need more vitamins, or girl, I got the whole alphabet vitamin shelf. But the thing is, the body doesn't just need vitamins, it needs minerals, and minerals do not get enough press time. And when you understand the difference, a lot of your cravings, fatigue, stress eating, and why am I like this moments, they suddenly make a lot more sense. So here's the simplest way to understand it. Vitamins help the body function, and minerals help the body operate. Vitamins are like the instructions in a manual, and minerals, they're like the actual tools. So you can have all the instructions in the world, but if you don't have the tools, nothing gets built. So our culture skipped straight to the supplements. We never learned how minerals work, what foods they come from, why we need them daily, why stress burns them, why processed foods strips them like corn, including popcorn, right? And then deficiencies show up as cravings. So you want popcorn because you're deficient in a certain mineral, but it strips it, leaving you even more deficient. You see the cycle? This is why deficiencies get labeled as lack of discipline. So instead, we're told take a multivitamin, take iron if you're tired, take vitamin D when you're sad, take omega-3s if your brain's a little foggy, take magnesium if you cramp, take a pill for that ill. And listen, I'm not anti-supplement. I'm anti-using pills to do the job food was designed to do. And if we literally break it down, the word supplement literally means something that completes or enhances something else when it's lacking. In other words, supplements were never meant to replace food. They were meant to support it. Now, let's talk minerals for a second, because this is where people go, oh, I didn't know I needed that. Minerals are needed for energy, sleep, mood, stress, hormone balance, metabolism, nervous system regulation, digestion, hydration, cravings, appetite signaling. Basically, minerals are how the body communicates with itself. And when minerals are low, the body will do whatever it has to do to get what it needs. Even if that means it gets disguised as craving. Craving sugar, craving salt, carbs, chocolate, bread, wine, snacks. Because the body doesn't speak English, it speaks signals. So here's what happens. The body is missing minerals. The brain sends a signal. We interpret it as I'm craving something or I need a snack. Then we eat the calories, not the minerals. And then the body stays deficient. The signal, it just repeats. And then we call it lack of discipline. But it wasn't discipline, it was deficiency. So let's make this real. If you are low in sodium, right, you're gonna crave salty snacks. If you're low in potassium, you're gonna crave carbs. If you're low in calcium, you're gonna crave cheese. If you're low in zinc, you're gonna crave meat or shellfish. And here's my favorite. If you're low in magnesium, you're going to crave chocolate. Now, this one is personal for me because I remember a time where I always had to have something sweet all day long, right? And I remember at a point where I didn't desire it anymore. And I thought I did something magical. Turns out I just started taking sea moss consistently and didn't realize it until a handful of years later. So when someone says, I don't know why I overeat and I'm not even hungry, that's a mineral problem, not a motivation problem. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with who get the sleeve or the bypass or any type of weight loss surgery, and nobody pulled them to the side and said, hey, just so you know, your hair, your energy, and your labs are about to depend on vitamins and minerals for the rest of your life. Not in a scary way, but in an empowering, this is the blueprint way. Surgery changes your stomach, but micronutrients are what determine how you feel while you heal. So let me add this piece in here because a lot of people never get the full explanation behind why their vitamin levels tank after surgery. And I'm not saying this in a negative way because surgery is powerful and for a lot of people, it's life-saving. But what many patients don't realize is that weight loss surgery doesn't change just how much you want to eat. It changes how much you can absorb and how much you can tolerate and how much your body now requires to heal. Most patients actually walk into surgery already low in things like vitamin D, iron, folate, because of what we already talked about, right? Which again is most people, not just weight loss surgery candidates. But because of those things, you're already in a micronutrient deficit before the first incision ever happens. Then, after surgery, 3 things happen at the same time. Intake drops, absorption drops, and tolerance changes. Smaller portions means less nutrition coming in. Bypassing parts of the intestines means less nutrition gets absorbed. And foods that are high in vitamins and minerals suddenly become harder to tolerate. So the body is getting less, absorbing less of what it does get, and needing more because it's in a healing phase. It's the perfect setup for deficiencies. That's why you'll see post-op folks dealing with fatigue, hair thinning, anemia, mood changes, bone density issues, brittle nails, cold intolerances, right? Not because the surgery failed, but because micronutrient care wasn't integrated into the lifestyle roadmap. So I always tell my post-op clients, your surgery reduced capacity. Now we have to increase the quality. So it's not just about smaller plates, it's about smarter nutrition, because long-term success with surgery isn't just about weight loss. It's about nutritional sufficiency. So here's where it gets interesting. A lot of supplements don't actually come with the cofactors needed for absorption. Here's an example. You need magnesium to convert vitamin D. You need vitamin D to absorb calcium. You need zinc or stomach acid, and you need stomach acid to absorb minerals. So people take pills, but the pills don't go anywhere. Nothing changes, and you're still tired, still craving, and still searching. Can we go deeper? Our ancestors didn't take supplements. They got minerals from soil-rich foods, sea vegetables, sea moss and nori and dulse and bladderwrack. Some ate organ meats, spring water, herbs, roots, sunshine, and movement. But our modern lifestyle swapped those for processed foods, stripped grains, bottled water, indoor living, stress, limited sleep, emotional eating, and more stress, right? We're mineral deficient in a mineral-rich world. So how do we get back on track? Foods are preferred. The ideal way to get minerals and vitamins is still through food, real food, plants especially. So foods like leafy greens, nuts and seeds, beans, fruits, and vegetables. These foods come packed with fiber, phytonutrients, antioxidants, minerals, and enzymes that all work together. That's why the body recognizes them and knows what to do with them. So here's where it gets interesting. It's not always about what you take, but about what your body can absorb. If someone eats a lot of highly processed food, dairy from a cow, and certain animal foods because of the acidity levels, that can make the gut angry, inflamed, or more permeable over time. Translation, your gut is basically the bouncer of your body. When it's inflamed, the bouncer is tired, distracted, and letting anybody in. Meanwhile, the important VIP nutrients, they're stuck outside in the cold. So if your gut wall is inflamed or irritated, the nutrients that you're eating, they can't get in. And the stuff you don't want in your bloodstream gets a VIP pass. This is what leaky gut means and why so many people are suffering from it. So absorption matters as much as the intake. And let me give you a quick clarification. When I say acidic foods, I'm not talking about citrus fruits, right? Citrus fruits don't create the same acidic metabolic load that people imagine. So no one is out here eating 15 lemons a day anyway, so you're good. My second best way to get in your vitamins and minerals is sea sources. Now, this is where things get exciting. Sea vegetables like sea moss, kelp, dulse, bladderwrack, they contain the trace minerals in forms the body recognizes and can actually use. So when I said earlier, we don't have a discipline problem, we have a deficiency problem, this is the part of what I meant. Sea vegetables, they're not a magic cure, they're mineral delivery systems. So over time, as mineral status improves and inflammation decreases, the gut lining can repair more easily. That's why I did a whole separate video on sea moss alone. Now, my final suggestion to getting your vitamins and minerals, supplements. They are the backup. Because again, I'm not anti-supplement. I'm anti-using supplements to do the job that food was designed to do. Supplements are supposed to supplement, right? Not replace, not compete with food, not become the meal. And I will say, I love seeing more people recognize the need for minerals, especially in communities that historically haven't been centered in wellness conversations. Now, recently, I came across a company created by a Black woman, and get this, she's a bariatric surgeon. It's so dope. She saw her patients struggling, saw the gaps in their nutrition, and instead of waiting for the system to catch up, she created what they needed herself. Now, of course, I went straight to the ingredient list, right? Because y'all know that's how I roll. And I was pleasantly surprised. She included herbs that I would actually recommend for you guys depending on your needs. Yarrow roots, cinnamon bark, juniper, olive leaf, the list goes on. So she clearly did her homework. Now, at the time I'm recording this, I don't know if she has an affiliate link or anything like that, but if she does, you already know I'm signing up. But affiliate or not, I will share her link because she's doing her thing. And I will always support people filling real gaps. Now, I haven't personally tried it yet, so this is not necessarily a review. I just love seeing culturally competent products created by practitioners who understand their audience. That's the future of wellness. So let's wrap this up. Food should be the foundation. Seed sources can be powerful reinforcers. And then supplements are the backup singers, right? They're not the lead vocal. But when the foundation is strong, the body doesn't need to scream to get what it needs. So what I want you to take from this lesson is this. Your cravings are not random. Your appetite is not the enemy. Your body ain't broken. Your metabolism isn't lazy. And your willpower ain't weak. Your body is simply asking for what it needs, using the language it knows. So now that you've learned how to decode the language, now you just gotta listen, pay attention, and properly feed the body what it truly wants. This is how your relationship with food improves. Not by forcing it though, but by you finally learning how to listen and give. Until next time.